In a world where the top 1% control more wealth than the bottom 90% combined, their fortunes aren't just in plain sight, they're expertly hidden in a complex web designed by the world's most brilliant financial minds. Welcome to Shadows of Wealth, where today we're pulling back the curtain on the secretive strategies used by the ultra-wealthy to protect their billions from taxes, public scrutiny, and financial obligation. Did you know that according to conservative estimates, there's at least $36 trillion hidden in offshore accounts? That's enough money to end global extreme poverty 30 times over. But here's what makes this truly fascinating. These aren't just illegal tax schemes by corrupt billionaires. They're sophisticated, often perfectly legal strategies that operate in the gray areas of international finance. In the next 11 minutes, I'll show you exactly how the ultra-wealthy create corporate labyrinths that make their money virtually untraceable, use art collections worth hundreds of millions as financial instruments, leverage citizenship and residency programs to minimize tax obligations, and employ teams of experts who find loopholes you and I don't even know exist. Whether you're curious about wealth preservation strategies, concerned about economic inequality, or simply fascinated by how the other half lives, this video will change how you understand global wealth forever. Before we dive deeper into this hidden world, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. We investigate financial mysteries like this every week, and our community of curious minds is growing fast. Hit that like button if you're ready to learn what most financial advisors won't tell you. Let's start with the foundation of wealth concealment: offshore banking and shell companies. Despite what Hollywood might show you, offshore banking isn't inherently illegal. It's simply the practice of keeping assets in a country different from where you live, typically in jurisdictions with strict banking secrecy laws, low or zero taxation, limited information sharing with foreign governments, and political and economic stability. In places like the Cayman Islands or Bermuda, opening a bank account through a properly structured company can create a level of privacy that's simply impossible in your home country. Now, let's talk about shell companies, perhaps the most powerful tool in the wealth-hiding arsenal. A shell company is a legal entity that exists only on paper with no active business operations or significant assets. The ultra-wealthy rarely use just one shell company. Instead, they create elaborate structures that might look something like this. Money from a wealthy individual's business in country A flows to a shell company in the British Virgin Islands, which owns another shell company in Luxembourg, which owns a trust in Jersey, which makes investments through a private foundation in Liechtenstein, before eventually flowing back to the individual as foreign investments or consulting fees. Each layer adds complexity and distance from the original wealth source, making it increasingly difficult for tax authorities, creditors, or even family members to track. In many jurisdictions, the true owners of these entities remain completely anonymous in public records. In fact, until recently, it was easier in some U.S. states to get information about who adopted a pet from a shelter than who owned a billion-dollar company. For truly long-term wealth preservation, the ultra-wealthy turn to two specialized vehicles: trusts and foundations. A trust is a legal arrangement where one person, the trustee, holds assets for the benefit of others, the beneficiaries. What makes trusts particularly powerful for wealth concealment is that when properly structured, the assets no longer legally belong to the wealthy individual who created them. This creates a fascinating situation where someone can effectively control billions of dollars in wealth while technically owning very little on paper. Take the famous dynasty trusts established in places like South Dakota, Nevada, and Delaware. These can protect family wealth not just for decades, but potentially for centuries. all while minimizing estate taxes and keeping financial details completely private. You might be surprised to learn that the United States has become one of the world's leading secrecy jurisdictions. In fact, a recent investigation by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists found that South Dakota now houses more than $367 billion in trust assets. For the ultra-wealthy concerned with their legacy, private foundations offer another option. Unlike trusts, foundations can exist in perpetuity and combine wealth preservation with reputation enhancement through charitable giving. The irony is that while foundations must technically serve charitable purposes, they're only required to distribute about 5% of their assets annually. The remaining 95% can continue growing tax-free while being invested in virtually anything, including private businesses, real estate, and other investment vehicles connected to the founder. Finding this eye-opening? Drop a like to help more people discover these hidden financial strategies. For ultra-high net worth individuals, your passport might be your most important financial instrument. Welcome to the world of citizenship and residency planning, where the wealthy strategically obtain multiple passports and residency permits to optimize their global tax position. Unlike most people who are stuck in the tax system of their birth country, the ultra-wealthy employ strategic citizenship planning to legally minimize their tax burden. Over 40 countries now offer some form of golden visa or citizenship by investment program. For anywhere from $100,000 to several $1 million, you can effectively buy a new passport or residency permit. The most aggressive wealth preservation strategy. Complete tax nomadism. Imagine this scenario. A tech entrepreneur with a St. Kitts and Nevis passport who maintains residency in Monaco, no income tax, while keeping investments in Singapore, no capital gains tax, and owning property through companies in Dubai, no property tax, all while spending no more than 120 days in any single jurisdiction. This person can legally operate almost completely outside any country's tax net. While the average person pays 20 to 40% of their income in taxes, this strategic nomad might pay close to zero. Sometimes the most effective way to hide wealth is to transform it into something that's not traditionally considered money at all. Welcome to the world of alternative assets, where wealth isn't just hidden, but displayed in plain sight as status symbols that appreciate in value. Take fine art. A billionaire might purchase a $50 million painting that appreciates 10 to 15% annually while hanging in their private collection. Unlike stocks, there's no requirement to report this asset's value or appreciation to tax authorities until it's sold. Even more fascinating are free ports, specialized maximum security warehouses that exist in a kind of legal limbo outside normal customs territories. In these facilities, billions of dollars in art, gold, wine, classic cars, and other valuables sit in climate-controlled rooms, technically in transit potentially for decades. No customs duties, no taxes, no reporting requirements. The ultra-wealthy can even monetize these assets without selling them by taking out loans with the assets as collateral. This creates spendable cash while generating no taxable income event. This leads us to one of the most powerful wealth preservation strategies. Buy, borrow, die. Buy appreciating assets. Borrow against them when you need cash, tax-free. Die passing assets to heirs with a stepped-up cost basis, avoiding capital gains, tax entirely. And for those concerned about privacy, certain assets like cryptocurrency, high-value gemstones, or rare collectibles offer both appreciation potential and the ability to store millions in value in ways that are difficult for authorities to track. So there you have it, the sophisticated strategies that keep trillions of dollars in the shadows. Whether you find these strategies concerning or fascinating, one thing is clear. There are two fundamentally different financial systems operating in our world today. One for the ultra-wealthy with access to specialized knowledge and experts, and another for everyone else. This isn't just about tax avoidance. It's about a parallel financial universe with different rules, different opportunities, and different outcomes. What do you think? Are these strategies simply smart financial planning, or do they represent a fundamental problem in our global financial system? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this journey into the world of wealth concealment eye-opening, make sure you're subscribed for our next investigation. Next week, we'll be diving deeper into another fascinating aspect of global finance. Hit that notification bell. Share this video with someone who would find it fascinating, and remember, knowledge is the ultimate form of wealth. Until next time, and this has been Shadows of Wealth.